Hey everybody, welcome back to a max velocity weather forecast, and today what we're going over is that severe weather potential across the central plains later this afternoon into the evening hours. All modes of severe weather will be possible, including damaging winds, some large hail, and also an isolated tornado or two cannot be ruled out. Let's get right into it. So as of right now, there is a slight risk of severe weather. Again, that does include southern Nebraska as well as northern and central Kansas. The marginal threat goes as far east as Kansas City and back out to the west in the far eastern corner there of Colorado. Again, all modes of severe weather will be possible. The main threat going to be damaging winds and some large hail. There is a low-end tornado threat. Again, that really includes these areas in the slight risk region, so that goes into southern Nebraska, into northern as well as central portions of Kansas. Let's take a look at the entire United States real quick, and then we'll get into timing. There is actually 4 different areas of severe weather today. One is going to be including up here in Montana. There's also one back out here where the monsoon's happening over in eastern areas of Nevada as well as western Utah, and there's also a marginal risk of severe weather up here in the far northern plains closer to Minnesota as well as into areas like South Dakota and North Dakota. All right, let's take a look at the timing this afternoon across the central plains. Right around 4 to 5 o'clock, we'll start to see those storms fire up. Now, initially, we're expecting mostly isolated or widely scattered storms, and that really should be the story the entire afternoon and evening across the central plains. By about 5 o'clock, you can start to see more storms are starting to fire up, especially near Hayes and just off to the northwest of Salina. Eventually, by about 6 o'clock or so, those storms move off to the east. They're moving right along the interstate going toward Manhattan. By about 7 o'clock, you can kind of see they're not moving very fast, but they will be very strong. Again, the main threat's going to be very large hail and also the potential for some damaging wind gusts. By 8 to 9 o'clock, storms will start to fizzle out down here to the south. Not nearly going to be as strong, it looks like, after sunset. We can see much more a more defined area of storms back up closer to Nebraska. Those storms, again, main threats there will likely be damaging winds. By 10 to 11 o'clock, we'll start to see those storms move down to the south and east, very slowly but surely, and eventually by about 2 to 3 in the morning, all those storms are starting to really just fizzle out for the most part. If anything's remaining, it should be mostly just ordinary storms after about 1 in the morning or so. Here's a look at the low-level jet, by the way. You can kind of see the low-level jet overall is not going to be very strong during the morning hours. Eventually going to the afternoon, though, it really starts to increase. That's why that tornado threat might ramp up just a little bit. Now, the overall setup is going to be pretty difficult for tornadoes to develop regardless, but the low-level jet will increase at least somewhere right around after sunset. So if storms can really survive the daylight heating, we very well could see potentially maybe an isolated tornado or two. You can see 40 knots is plenty for that low-level jet, or maybe a tornado or two. All right, here's a look, by the way, at tomorrow's severe weather outlook. Again, this will be in marginal risk as of right now. Again, I'll actually be on a flight when this video comes out, so that's why it's being recorded the night before, but you can see that there's a marginal risk of severe weather as of now across the northern plains. That includes Minnesota as well as Iowa, eastern of North and South Dakota, as well as eastern Nebraska. Again, main threats, it looks like tomorrow will be probably just damaging winds, maybe a little bit of large hail. Low-end tornado threat may exist, but overall, very low threat there. All right, make sure to stay updated again with Max Velocity here on YouTube for the latest. Subscribe and like if you haven't already. This forecast is brought to you by Platinum Contracting, All Dents Repair, and Patriot Safe Firms.